Conwy is a walled market town in North Wales and is home to one of the best preserved medieval castles in the country. We recently visited Conwy as part of a longer trip to North Wales, and we had a great time exploring the town and its attractions. So in this video, we're going to be showing you the best things to do in a day in Conwy. Most people visiting Conwy will be driving to the town, and there are a number of car parks that you can park in when you get there. We parked in the Vicarage Gardens car park next to Conwy Castle, which cost us £7.50 for 4 hours. However, 4 hours is the maximum stay here, as this is the case with many car parks in the centre in the summer. As always, our first stop of the day was for coffee, and there are plenty of cafes to choose from in Conwy. We opted for the Illy Cafe on the High Street, just a short walk from Conwy Castle. So of course, refreshed after a scone and breakfast, nice cappuccino as always. We're going to do our first thing in Conwy, and of course it's the big one, Conwy Castle. Very easy entry to the castle if you pre-book, £12.50 each per adult, and you just give your reference number straight in, no messing about with the till. So coming in high season, definitely worth booking in advance. Conwy Castle is one of the best preserved medieval castles in Wales. Built between 1283 and 1287, the outer walls of the castle are still generally intact, and thanks to some preservation work you can walk a complete circuit around the battlements of the upper level. We just so happened to be visiting on the day when a celebration was taking place to mark the twinning of Conwy Castle with Himeji Castle in Japan. I have to say it was a truly unique experience to walk into the castle to the sound of Japanese drums. Anyway, back to the castle itself. There isn't too much to see on the ground level, so after watching the drummers we headed up one of several staircases to the upper level of the castle. From here you get a fantastic view over the town, the River Conwy and the Conwy Suspension Bridge. Well, we just spent about 15-20 minutes in Conwy Castle so far, and I'm absolutely blown away with it. I mean, what do you want from a castle? You want somewhere that obviously it's slightly ruined, but there's plenty of walkways you can walk around. The number of towers, I don't know how many towers you can go up, just been up that one there, which is kind of a medium height tower. You've got spectacular views over the River Conwy, you've even got entertainment on, which is impressive for just after 10 o'clock in the morning. You can climb up all 8 towers along the castle walls, but we opted to climb the chapel tower, which offered one of the best views of the suspension bridge. So we've come up the chapel tower. I mean, you've got a selection of about 4, 5, 6 towers here that you can walk up. You see people up, everyone taking photos and videos. What a stunning view over the River Conwy, back over the castle. It's definitely worth making the effort to come up one of the towers. All in all, we spent just over an hour exploring Conwy Castle. In my opinion, the castle is the best thing to do in Conwy and worth a visit for anyone interested in old buildings and architecture. The next stop on our tour of Conwy was the town walls. As I mentioned at the start of this video, Conwy is a walled town and you can walk along much of the 3/4 mile long section of the wall that still stands today. Okay, we just heard one of the local guides saying that a lot of the town walls here in Conwy are closed for repair, but there is a small section open, so hopefully we'll find that. But what we'll do is we'll walk around the walls anyway to give you, show you what it's like in the various sections, because I think it's about 3/4 mile when it's fully open, so it's really worth visiting. But we're going to try and find that section where we can get up there and show you the views. Yes, we found the entranceway that's open on Conwy walls. For reference, if you come to the town, you come down Rosemary Lane, it's a nice little walk. Or if you're arriving by train, it's right outside the railway station. So to be fair, this makes sense to have this section of the wall open. Don't know how long it is yet, but we've seen people quite high up, so we'll go for a wander. We joined the wall by climbing the spiral staircase next to the train station and walked uphill as far as we could get, which wasn't very far. It's also worth mentioning here that you will need to be in general good health to walk along the walls, as there are lots of thin and steep sections to traverse. We've reached the highest point of the walls here and it's worth the climb. few breaks along the way, but what a great view down to the Conwy Castle and the Conwy River there. It's a superb view over the town. Now normally I think you can walk along the walls down to the river, but there's a barrier here that obviously somebody shoved aside. It says path temporarily closed, so we don't know what the street level access is like further down, and I don't think it's worth risking. I mean, it's a good view anyway down there, but I'm quite happy with the section we've done. We're going to just walk back down onto the street level, and then we're going to head on to the waterfront down there. After a morning of exploring, we had worked up quite an appetite, and you can't go to the seaside in the UK without having fish and chips. We enjoyed our fish and chips inside at the Galleon, away from those greedy seagulls on the waterfront. And speaking of the waterfront, this was our next stop. Although this is actually the River Conwy, the town's waterfront feels very much like a typical British seaside promenade, with souvenir shops, ice cream stalls and fun fair rides lining the walkway on both sides. Now, regardless of whether the full wall walk was open or not, I'm guessing you can't get down to the very end bit here. I mean, the wall that goes around there literally runs right into the sea. It's quite a good shot here, just the boats upturned on the beach, looking out across the river, then the castle in that direction. It's a very picturesque place. Here in Conwy you can also see the smallest house in Britain. It's a small entry. We're not going to go in it today. I think it's only about £3, but it's so small, there's no proper door, it's just a curtain. They pull back the curtain and in you go. So I'm guessing it's probably limited to 1 or 2 people at a time. To be honest, these types of attractions are not really my thing, so we only spent 10 minutes by the water. Our day in Conwy was coming to an end, but we had one more stop to make back past the castle. This is Thomas Telford's original suspension bridge built in the 1800s, and obviously this is the way the traffic used to get into Conwy. And as traffic increased over the years, obviously they had to build different bridges. I'm not sure of the history of this bridge here. It seems that there were various bridges in various times. The Conwy Bridge here was built in the late 50s, and that's the main bridge that traffic will drive over here now. It's really interesting because there's hardly ever anybody on this bridge. There's one other person taking photos, but it's just a great sight walking across it and seeing Conwy Castle behind us. So that was our day in Conwy. We just spent around about 4 hours here, which I think is about right. You could probably spend 5 or 6 hours if you do a few more things. There's one thing we didn't do today, that's the Plas Moor, which is apparently quite a good Elizabethan house in the centre of town. It's really worth looking around, but it's not something we did today. But the castle is fantastic. You can see it here behind me. Like I said, the choice of towers where you can go up and views, all 360 views of the River Conwy, the town itself, and out the other side are fabulous. The wall walk is really good. It's a little disappointing that the whole wall isn't open, but having said that, we walked enough of it for us to give us a feel. Again, if you make your way all the way up to the top tower, you've got wonderful views down into the town, and then you can walk along the quay here, just alongside the river. You can see the smallest house in Great Britain, and it's a nice atmosphere on the quays. I reckon if you had fish and chips down there, the seagulls would have a field day. They're all down there waiting, watching people with the chips, so beware if you do. Anyway, with that, we hope you enjoyed our video. Thanks for watching Rob on Holiday. If you've got any comments or questions, please put them in the box below and we'll be happy to get back to you. If you did like the video, please consider subscribing because it really helps our channel, so just hit that button down there. In the meantime, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.